At 2:38 a.m. on July 5, the Borisoglebsk airbase in Russia's Voronezh region shuddered under a series of deafening explosions. A swarm of Ukrainian kamikaze unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, having silently crossed 93 miles of border territory, slammed into a stockpile of Russian-guided cab bombs, the devastating munitions used by Su-34 fighter jets. Within seconds, the bomb depot erupted into a blazing inferno. A training L-39 jet was obliterated, and a nearby Su-34 sustained heavy damage. The strike, confirmed by Ukraine's general staff, inflicted tens of millions of dollars in losses and exposed critical vulnerabilities in what Russia believed was an impregnable fortress. Borisoglebsk, home to the 105th Air Brigade, has long served as a command hub for bombing missions targeting Ukraine. Yet, through meticulous planning and homegrown technology, Ukraine turned this base into a symbol of its unrelenting resistance. On the morning of July 3, inside a command center in Kyiv, Ukrainian intelligence officers received a critical tip. A source in Voronezh, communicating via an encrypted telegram channel, reported that Borisoglebsk was stockpiling cab bombs for Su-34 missions aimed at Kharkiv. Satellite imagery from Planet Labs, captured at 4 p.m., corroborated the intel. A concrete warehouse measuring 164 by 98 feet on the base's western edge showed unusual activity, with KAMAZ 5350 trucks moving constantly and Russian troops maintaining heavy guard. Borisoglebsk ranks among Russia's key air bases, hosting the 105th Air Brigade, which operates Su-34 jets, 2,485-mile range, Mach 1.8, Su-35S fighters, 2,237-mile range, Mach 2.25, and Su-30SM aircraft. The Su-34, dubbed the Flying Tank, forms the backbone of Russia's Kab glide bomb campaigns. Each Kab bomb, Korektiruamaya Aviatsiona Bomba, weighing 3,307 pounds with a 43.5-mile release range, packs the destructive power of 2.2 tons of TNT, posing a severe threat to Ukraine. Equipped with GLONS navigation and mid-flight trajectory correction, Kabs can precisely strike fortified targets, demolishing infrastructure and causing civilian casualties. A single Kab can level a 5-story building or create a 33-foot deep crater. Since early 2025, Russia has intensified Kab strikes on Kharkiv, devastating power plants and residential areas. Destroying this depot would disrupt Russia's air campaign, easing pressure on Kharkiv. With just 48 hours before the bombs were scheduled to ship out, Ukraine had to act swiftly. Intelligence went beyond satellite imagery. A Ukrainian operative, posing as a truck driver in Voronezh, provided details on guard schedules and cab bomb quantities. His report indicated the depot held 150 to 200 bombs, shipped from a Tula factory 2 weeks prior. Data from listening devices, planted near the base by a Ukrainian Special Forces team in June, captured Russian officers discussing plans for a July 7th bombing of Kharkiv. These puzzle pieces formed a clear picture. Borisoglebsk was a strategic target, and time was critical. The mission fell to a special operations team in Sumy province, 31 miles from the Russian border. The 20-member unit included 10 UAV engineers, 5 intelligence specialists, 3 drone operators, and 2 liaison officers. Trained for high-speed operations, this team had previously struck targets in Rostov and Kursk. They faced 3 major hurdles. First, limited resources. Only 12 kamikaze UAVs, each weighing 375 pounds, with a 124-mile range, 81-mile speed, 66-pound warhead, and GPS/inertial guidance accurate to 10 feet. Production was constrained by a shortage of components, particularly Chinese GPS chips, embargoed since March 2025. Next, Russian air defenses. Borisoglebsk was shielded by a Podlet M radar, 124-mile detection range, spotting targets at 164 feet. 2 Tor M2 systems, 7.5-mile range, 8 9M331 missiles per unit, 10-second reaction time. And an R330Z Zhitel jamming system, 6.2 miles away, capable of disrupting GPS and Starlink communications within an 18.6-mile radius. Finally, the tight timeline. 48 hours to plan, test UAVs, and reconnoiter without exposing their position. The UAVs were built at a covert facility in Dnipro, using civilian lawnmower engines and batteries from imported Tesla electric vehicles. To evade radar, engineers applied a radar-absorbing polymer coating, reducing reflection by 20%. A random flight algorithm was programmed, making the UAVs shift altitude between 98 and 197 feet every 3.1 miles, creating unpredictable paths. The team opted to deploy 10 UAVs, split into 2 groups, 6 targeting the bomb depot, 4 hitting the aircraft area to sow chaos. Codenamed Volya, the UAVs were crafted by a team of young engineers in Dnipro under resource-scarce conditions. Each measured 8.2 feet long, with a 9.8-foot wingspan, and was hand-assembled in 72 hours. The 66-pound warhead, packed with RDX explosive, matched 99 pounds of TNT, capable of penetrating 14-inch concrete walls. For precision, engineers integrated Polish military-grade GPS modules, achieving 5.9-foot accuracy in ideal conditions. However, the batteries lasted only 90 minutes, forcing the team to calculate optimal routes, avoiding headwinds and electromagnetic interference. Starting July 3, the team worked from an old warehouse in Sumy. Engineers tested UAVs, refining GPS to cut deviation to 6.6 feet. Intelligence analysts reviewed satellite data, confirming the depot held 150-200 cab bombs, guarded by 12 soldiers with KAMAZ 5350 trucks and a BTR-82A armored vehicle. On July 4, the team tested UAVs in a field, achieving 8.2-foot accuracy. By 11 p.m., 10 UAVs were ready, concealed under camouflage netting. The Sumy warehouse, once a grain storage site, was repurposed as a temporary command hub. Lacking heating, engineers worked in freezing conditions, with nighttime temperatures dropping to 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, the intelligence team used AI software to analyze satellite data, pinpointing the bomb depot and aircraft area, 164 feet apart. They also detected a Russian air defense unit moving near the base at 8 p.m. on July 4, forcing the team to adjust the UAV launch schedule. At 1 a.m. on July 5, the task force assembled in a desolate field in Sumy, 31 miles from the border. The temperature hovered at 46 degrees F, and thick fog provided perfect cover for the launch site while hindering satellite visibility. 10 mobile launch platforms, each carrying a UAV, were lined up under the dim glow of flashlights. Shivering engineers meticulously checked GPS, batteries, and 66-pound warheads, ensuring no errors. In Kyiv's command center, officers monitored via Starlink, relaying final coordinates. At 1:20 a.m., the launch order was given. 10 UAVs lifted off, their faint hum blending into the fog. Flying at 131 feet and 81 miles per hour, they split into 2 groups. 6 aimed for the bomb depot, 4 targeted the aircraft area 164 feet away. On Starlink screens in Sumy, steady blips tracked their progress, but tension gripped the team as they awaited signs of Russian radar detection. The launch platforms, built from recycled steel frames, weighed just 110 pounds, enabling rapid nighttime mobility. Each was operated by a technician using a handheld, encrypted radio controller. Before takeoff, the team leader, Captain Alexander, 38, rallied the group. "This isn't just a mission, it's Kharkiv's future. We cannot fail." His words inspired, but the pressure weighed heavily, especially on drone operators monitoring 10 UAVs simultaneously on a 15-inch screen. The 93-mile journey from Sumy to Borisoglebsk took 70 minutes, crossing fields, pine forests, and the Don River. Fog and low clouds helped the UAVs evade the Podlet-M radar, but 7.5 mile-per-hour headwinds slowed them to 75 miles per hour. In Kyiv, intelligence detected the Podlet-M radar near the border scanning at 2 GHz at 1:50 a.m. An officer ordered the UAVs to drop to 98 feet, hugging a ridgeline. This risky move evaded detection after 15 seconds, leaving the Sumy team breathless. In the warehouse, the unspoken thought was clear: 1 drone down and the plan collapses. Yet the UAVs pressed on, crossing the Don River at 2:10 a.m. A Russian outpost near the border reported an odd hum, but dismissed it due to fog-obscured visibility. The UAV's flight path was meticulously programmed to exploit terrain. From Sumy, they traversed the Tsumanska Plains' sparse tree cover, then skirted the Kalinivka pine forest to minimize radar signatures. Crossing the Don River, the UAVs hit strong easterly winds, causing one to veer 164 feet off course. A Sumy drone operator, former pilot Pavlo, swiftly corrected it via radio, restoring the path. Starlink data confirmed all 10 UAVs were operational, with 65% battery remaining 18.6 miles from the target. At Borisoglebsk, the base lay cloaked in darkness. Russian troops, mostly conscripts aged 20 to 22, guarded the bomb depot with lax vigilance. 5 KAMAZ 5350 trucks, 13.2-ton capacity, 260 horsepower diesel, and a BTR-82A 30mm cannon, 8 troops, were parked near the warehouse, where 150-200 cab bombs sat on steel racks. 10 guards, armed with AK-12 rifles, 1,969-foot range, 600 rounds per minute, and R-168 5UN radios, patrolled sluggishly. One guard, yawning, scanned the sky but saw only fog. He radioed, "All clear." The night shift commander, a lieutenant, concurred and returned to his coffee. At 2:25 a.m., the UAVs were 6.2 miles out. The random flight system kicked in, varying their altitude between 98 and 164 feet. A guard heard a faint engine-like hum, but mistook it for a training jet. He radioed, but the commander snapped, "Don't panic over wind." This complacency paved the way for disaster. The Russians' laxness stemmed from a belief that Borisoglebsk was beyond Ukraine's reach. Built in the Soviet era, the base boasted layered defenses: 4 watchtowers, 12 surveillance cameras, and 30 troops on alert.
Yet most guards, inexperienced in combat, lacked the skill to spot low-flying UAVs. The outdated infrared cameras faltered in fog. A later Russian internal report revealed the night shift commander ignored 2 unusual noise warnings from guards in the 10 minutes before the blasts. In Sumy, the task force held its breath as the UAVs closed to 3.1 miles. At 2:36 a.m., the Podlet M radar picked up faint signals, but the UAV's numbers and erratic paths prevented the Tor M2 systems from locking on. In Kyiv, an officer shouted, "They're in the radar blind spot." The blind zone, below 164 feet, proved a fatal flaw in Russia's defenses. 6 UAVs targeting the bomb depot locked onto pre-programmed coordinates, while the other 4 aimed for the aircraft area. Starlink data showed 81 miles per hour speeds and 5.9-foot accuracy, with no intercepting missiles. But at 2:37 a.m., the R-330 Zhitel jammer disrupted Starlink for 8 seconds. The Sumy team switched to a backup radio channel, restoring contact just in time. At 2:38:02 a.m., the first 6 UAVs struck the bomb depot. Their 66-pound warheads detonated, piercing 14-inch concrete walls and triggering a chain reaction from the KAB bombs. A massive fireball, 197 feet high, erupted, incinerating 8,611 square feet. Steel and concrete shrapnel flew 394 feet, shredding 3 KAMAZ 5350 trucks and wounding 4 guards. The blaze lit up the base like a beacon in the night. 3 seconds later, at 2:38:05 a.m., the remaining 4 UAVs hit the aircraft area. An L-39 Albatross jet, worth $2 million, 466 mph max speed, used for pilot training, in a hangar was torn apart, debris scattering across the runway. A nearby Su-34 fullback, worth $36 million, 8.8-ton payload, 2,485-mile range, took shrapnel to its right wing and AN/OAQ-28 radar, rendering it unflyable. Black smoke from the blasts merged with the depot fire, blanketing the base. The depot explosion sent shockwaves 1,640 feet, shattering windows across the base. The epicenter reached 3,632 degrees Fahrenheit, melting steel and concrete. The CAB bomb's delayed fuses triggered 12 secondary explosions over 3 minutes, spreading flames across 12,917 square feet. The unprotected L-39 was obliterated. Its Pratt & Whitney JT-15D4 engine hurled 260 feet. The Su-34, parked in a semi-hardened hangar, suffered severe damage. Its radar was destroyed, right wing severed by 4.9 feet, and electronics 60% fried. A preliminary Russian report pegged Su-34 repair costs at $10 million. The blasts echoed to the town of Borisoglebsk, 1.9 miles away. Startled residents rushed to windows. One posted a video on Telegram. The skies glowing red, explosions like thunder, shaking the house. The clip went viral on X, racking up thousands of views before deletion. Russian troops at the base descended into chaos. A guard, ears ringing, screamed into his radio, "The bomb depot's gone! Send help!" The night shift commander tried to rally forces, but smoke and flames sowed confusion. The Tor M2 systems fired 3 9M331 missiles at 2:42 a.m., but the UAVs had already struck. Soldiers stumbled in the dark, some tripping as choking smoke overwhelmed them. Voronezh firefighters arrived at 3 a.m., but the depot fire, fueled by secondary fuel tank explosions, consumed 12,917 square feet. Firm's data logged 1,562 degrees Fahrenheit until 8 a.m. A Russian officer, staring at the blaze, muttered, "How did Ukraine pull this off?"
The chaos was captured in intercepted radio chatter. One soldier yelled, "Can't see anything! Smoke everywhere!" An officer ordered an evacuation, but uncertainty about remaining UAVs left troops hesitant. The Tor M2 systems, designed to counter UAVs, faltered as smoke and debris jammed radar signals. The 20-man firefighting team with 4 trucks took 30 minutes to reach the site, blocked by debris and wrecked vehicles.
In Sumy, the task force received Kiev's confirmation of target destruction. They dismantled launch platforms at 2:50 a.m. and retreated to a covert base 7.5 miles away. Planet Labs satellite imagery at 7 a.m. on July 5 showed the bomb depot 75% collapsed, its roof destroyed. A Russian Orlan-10 reconnaissance drone, launched at 7:20 a.m., confirmed the L-39 destroyed and the Su-34 heavily damaged. Ukraine's general staff estimated $20 million in losses, including 150 to 200 Cob bombs, 1 jet, and infrastructure. The 105th Brigade lost 25% of its bombing capacity, halting Kharkiv missions for 3 to 4 weeks.
The withdrawal was as tense as the strike. The task force, traveling in 4 UAZ-469 vehicles, dodged Russian checkpoints near the border. A scout team, using night vision gear, cleared the path. By 4 a.m., the team reached a derelict Sumy farmstead. There, they analyzed Starlink and drone data, confirming 9 of 10 UAVs hit their targets, with 1 missing by 10 feet due to GPS jamming. Captain Alexander reported to Kiev. Mission accomplished, no losses. Russia issued no official comment, but its defense ministry claimed 94 UAVs downed on July 5, possibly including those at Borisoglebsk. At 9 a.m., Russia retaliated with 18 Shahed 136 drones, 1,243-mile range, 110-pound warhead, and 10 Ka-101 missiles, 3,418-mile range, 882-pound warhead, targeting Sumy, damaging a power plant, killing 3 civilians, and injuring 10. X sources, like the Rybar channel, confirmed losses but admitted only the L-39 destruction. Voronezh authorities evacuated 600 residents near the base due to toxic smoke. Debris damaged 6 homes, sparking local anger. One X-post read, "Borisoglebsk's burning, yet the military says all's fine. Who buys that?" Russia's counterstrike was planned immediately after the attack. A Milarovo Airbase unit, 124 miles from Borisoglebsk, deployed Shahed 136 drones and K-101 missiles. The missiles, launched from 295 MS bombers, targeted Sumy's power plant, cutting 40% of the city's electricity. The Shahed 136 drones, flying low at 112 miles per hour to evade radar, saw 12 of 18 shot down by Ukraine's NASAMS defenses. The attack prompted Ukraine to bolster Sumy's defenses with 2 additional Buk M1 systems. The strike exposed Russia's air defense gaps. The Podlet M radar and Tor M2 systems failed against low-flying UAVs, and the R-330Zh jammer couldn't disrupt Starlink. Ukraine capitalized on this, destroying a $9 million Rostov ammo depot on July 7. Ukrainian morale soared, with X-posts brimming with pride. Borisoglebsk's a warning to Russia: Ukraine won't stop. The strike boosted Kiev's credibility with allies, proving its indigenous tech's effectiveness. The strategic fallout from Borisoglebsk extended beyond material losses. Russia was forced to adapt, deploying Nebo-M radars and S-400 systems at border bases. Yet, maintaining constant air defenses, costing an estimated $500,000 daily per base, strained Russia's budget. Ukraine, buoyed by success, ramped up UV investment, with a new Lviv factory set to produce 500 UVs monthly from September 2025. NATO allies, notably Poland and the UK, pledged more GPS components and stealth polymers, enhancing Ukraine's capabilities. The Borisoglebsk strike was a Ukrainian triumph, blending technology, intelligence, and resolve. The events of July 5, from UAVs gliding through fog to the inferno at Russia's base, showcased a nation's unbreakable spirit. The impact transcended the flames, fueling Ukrainian confidence and Russian unease.
That's all for now. We hope this gripping account of Ukraine's daring strike offered fresh insights into the conflict. If you found it compelling, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for reading, and we'll catch you next time.